Hey everybody, it's me, Timmy Flyers guy, and welcome to another discussion of a past Philadelphia Flyer season. Today's video, I want to talk about the 2010-2011 Philadelphia Flyers. 2010 ended with the Philadelphia Flyers having an epic run, making it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals against the Chicago Blackhawks. Unfortunately, the Flyers were eliminated by the Chicago Blackhawks. It was a memorable run that many Flyers fans kept in their minds, even going into next season. During the offseason, the Philadelphia Flyers parted ways with Simon Gagne and added some new players, such as defenseman Andre Mazaros, defense Sean O'Donnell, Sean O'Donnell, Sean O'Donnell, and rookie goaltender Sergei Bobrovsky, along with rookies such as Andres Noodle, Daryl Powell, Emma Perrier was also on the team, but due to injury, he was not eligible to play. They still had guys like Blair Betts, Danny Briere, Mike Richards, Jeff Carter, Kimmo Timonen, Dan Carcillo, Scotty Hartnell, and many familiar faces. And this was also the year that Claude Giroux really blossomed into a great player. The 2010-2011 season started out a little slow, but the Flyers started to really rack up the points early in the season. The second half, the second half of the season had its ups and downs. Flyers had a huge loss to the Rangers, and a tough, disastrous overtime loss to the Atlanta Thrashers. But this team showed a lot of greatness. The two goalies this year were Sergei Bobrovsky, and Brian Boucher. Michael Leighton had gone down with an injury that year. So Bob and Bush were the two goaltenders for the Philadelphia Flyers. That year, Mike Richards and Jeff Carter didn't miss a step, because they were being points leaders for the Philadelphia Flyers. Chris Pryor didn't miss a step either, and Danny Briere kept racking the goals up. That year, this Flyers team had a great season. And let's not forget, Billy Lano really he was a goal scoring machine this year as well. Later in the season, the Flyers made a trade to get Christopher Stieg on the team that year. The Philadelphia Flyers captured the Atlantic Division Championship that year with a huge victory over the New York Islanders in the month of April. The Philadelphia Flyers would make the playoffs that year, and their first opponent would be the Buffalo Sabres. The Philadelphia Flyers beat the Buffalo Sabres in 7 games. Flyers had the momentum in the first. Flyers lost the first game of the season in the series when they were shut out. They won the second game, beating the Buffalo Sabres 5-3. In Game 3, Philadelphia Flyers beat the Buffalo Sabres. It was the Buffalo Sabres who beat the Flyers in Game 4, shutting them out. Going into Game 5, back in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Flyers were outscored in the first period, but they made a comeback in the third period to force overtime. But it was the Buffalo Sabres who got the overtime victory in Game 5 in Philly. The Flyers went into Buffalo. It was a goaltending carousel for the Flyers, as Bobrovsky had his struggles, Brian Boucher had his struggles, and it turned out that Michael Leighton would take over for the Flyers in that series. He made an appearance in Game 5, made an appearance in Game 6. He was pulled in Game 6, and Brian Boucher was pulled in Game 6, and Michael Leighton came in and relieved him Boucher. The Philadelphia Flyers came from behind in Game 6 to beat the Buffalo Sabres, as Billy Leno got the overtime game-winning goal to force a Game 7 back in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Flyers absolutely decimated the Buffalo Sabres in Game 5, and this will be the last time that the Buffalo Sabres will make a playoff appearance. Flyers advanced to the next round, and their next opponent was the Boston Bruins, a team that they beat in last year's 2010 Stanley Cup semifinals, as the Flyers came from behind 3-0 to beat the Boston Bruins 4-3 to end the series. Philadelphia Flyers are looking to replicate what they did in the last playoff series. But the Bruins team they came up against was a completely different Bruins team. In Game 1, the Bruins outscored the Philadelphia Flyers. In Game 2, it was more of the same. Game 3 was more of the same. And in Game 4, the Philadelphia Flyers were swept by the Boston Bruins in the second round. And then the 2010-2011 Stanley Cup playoff run. It was a tough way for the Flyers to go out. Many Flyers fans expected the Flyers to beat the Boston Bruins once again in the playoffs. But you know what they say, sometimes a year makes a difference. And for the Boston Bruins, that was an example of how Boston was able to revitalize their team and motivate themselves to beat the Philadelphia Flyers. Ironically, that year, the Boston Bruins became the 2011 Stanley Cup champions. So a year that had a lot of promise and even heartbreak. And unfortunately, this will be the last time we would see Mike Richards and Jeff Carter in the Philadelphia Flyers uniform. And I'll talk more about that in the next video. Guys, thank you for joining me in this video. I'll see you next time. As I'll talk about 2011, 2012 Philadelphia Flyers season.